It's a funny thing, isn't it? It's kind of like once you commit to that change, once you commit to making some sort of change or doing something new or doing something different, it's kind of like you open up this whole avenue of opportunities and options, and suddenly you're not restricted anymore. And that's an incredible thing to do in your life. You know, it doesn't have to be every day, but definitely, occasionally it's just take the lid off the jar and see what's inside and give yourself options. Oh, good morning world. Morning walk episode 22. Something very different this morning. Come down into the centre of Sydney, down to Circular Quay. I don't know, just to check out the city waking up. I think it's such a beautiful thing to see a place that's usually so teeming with people, just empty. Backlit Sydney Opera House, dawn on the way. Pretty hard to beat. Something I absolutely love about the early mornings is you get to see these spaces in ways that they're never used. People just getting into their early morning activities, running, walking, the empty building spaces, the empty streets that in just such a short period of time are just going to be absolutely teeming with people. You got the people who are getting out for their early morning run, walking, just the early birds, the workers who are setting up for the day, people who clean up after our shit doing their thing. This is all the stuff that happens in that funny point before the sun comes up. So what to make of all of this? Well, firstly, it's such a privilege. Bring my hat out, have it silhouetted against the Sydney Opera House. That's pretty fucking awesome. Every day's a blessing, and it's pretty awesome to see the people who are out and about already, checking things out, seeing something new, doing something different, expanding their horizons. That's so important. I've been thinking about this subject of changing paths and directions quite a lot over the years, and yesterday I was at my my regular osteopath. That's you, Anna. You're an absolute rock star. Thank you for everything you've done for me over the years. But she's leaving. She's moving south of Sydney to start a new life. And it's one of those things. She was saying to me that when they were talking about where they were going to move to, once they'd made the decision that they were going to leave Sydney and go somewhere else, suddenly they weren't just talking about moving south of Sydney. They were like, well, heck, we could move to New Zealand. We could move to the north of Australia. We could move overseas. They could move wherever they wanted. And it's a funny thing, isn't it? It's kind of like once you commit to that change, once you commit to making some sort of change or doing something new or doing something different, it's kind of like you open up this whole avenue of opportunities and options, and suddenly you're not restricted anymore. And that's an incredible thing to do in your life. It doesn't have to be every day, but definitely, occasionally it's just take the lid off the jar and see what's inside and give yourself options. It's like that one fork in the road. Once you accept that it's there and that you're going to embrace it, that creates unlimited opportunities for you. But I love that because it's kind of like discarding potential futures, and suddenly you can see what life could be for you, because if you decide to move south of Sydney or you decide to move to New York, the outcome's going to be really different. And that's the kind of magic. It's not even having to experience the fork in the road. It's not even having to walk down that second path yet. It's simply the moment where you accept that there is a fork in the road, that just everything changes. I'm going to tell you a story. On the night of my end of year formal, so that's kind of like prom if you're from America, sort of was hanging out with mates. We'd been out after our formal, and this is where we came. We came to the steps of the Opera House, and we literally sat and watched the sun come up. So to those of you guys who were there, thank you so much for what was an epic night, and an incredible memory throughout school. Sorry I was a bit of a dickhead from time to time. You guys are good guys, so thanks for your friendship. So here I stand as I stood as a child, what seems like a million years ago. The smell of salt is strong, the tide is low, the water still laps up against the rocks. In my mind's eye, my life is revealed before me. My arms are by my side, my eyes are open, and on my face I can feel the slight tingling of the spray. And I know what life is worth, and I know why things happen this way. And then suddenly the world's awake, and that secret magical moment that's just shared between a few of us is gone like it never existed. Well, that's it. And I was hesitating about getting up this morning, and the alarm went off, and I was like, oh really, am I going to go and do this? But goodness gracious, it's exceeded like every expectation I could have possibly had by a million miles. You know, I've revisited a place that I stood 20 years ago with a bunch of friends, and when I think about all the amazing paths that have diverged from that point to where I am right now, it's overwhelming. It's beautiful. The universe is just so complex and amazing. Anyway, I'm gonna have to hurry because I've got a plane to catch. I'm heading to Hong Kong in like a couple of hours, and if I don't hurry, I'm gonna miss it. I guess that's always going to be the case, isn't it? In a life that travels.